Well, once again, everybody, welcome to Comedy on Tap. I'm your host, Mark Bonto. We've got another great show and a funny show in store for you this week. So don't turn the channel. I don't know. I thought I had more to say, and then I just stopped all of a sudden. My guest this week is somebody who I've actually known. I've known for quite a while, but we'll get into that, or maybe not. He's very, very funny, and I really love his type of humor, which we'll get into a little bit too. But welcome to the show, the one, the only Eric Fadie. Eric, welcome.
Thank you.
The one, the only.
I appreciate it.
You know what I love about you? You're and I don't know how often you hear this. You hear this from me every time I say it.
Right.
I love your quirkiness on stage. It's great. I've always liked your quirkiness because someone with a shtick like that is just. It's great.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say, I don't know about other comedians or any of that stuff. I've known people that I think that, not to be weird or not to be whatever, everyone does their own thing, but not that it's fake, right. But I think sometimes there are people that try to maybe be awkward or something, and I think it only takes one time, usually of meeting me, to realize that it is not a fake.
Real.
I mean, that is just how I am. If you notice when I do comedy, a lot of comedians make fun of me. I tend to end up facing the back wall for some reason. I definitely don't do it very how you probably should be doing it, which is directly facing the audience, making eye contact. But I don't know.
And
but it's not like a nervous thing. It's just kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's not even a nervous thing. It's just how I am, and whatever.
But it works well, and it works also with the crowd too.
I know. I've gotten lucky that I think I have an issue. I've been doing comedy for about 5 years or so now, and I still have quite an issue writing punchlines. But I do think that it saves me, the quirkiness and stuff, and kind of how that goes. I think that does save me. I think it makes jokes funnier sometimes, even though I don't mean to do it like that. It just works out.
It can make a not funny joke funny just by the way you're delivering it.
Right, which is whatever, I guess.
So that's how long you've been doing it for 5 years?
Yeah, I got started, I was interning at a morning show in Detroit called Drew and Mike, because I want to do radio. I've wanted to do radio my whole life. And I don't know if you know Bill Bouchard at all.
Of course.
Most people in Michigan know Bill Bouchard. He's awesome. Right. He just emailed in the show one day and was like, "Hey, would your stupid intern want to try comedy? I do a comedy class. I'll teach him." And this is a fun story, actually. The first time I've ever done comedy, he offered to do it to me, and then the producers were like, "Hey, so what do you think? Would you like to do this class?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, I guess. Why not?" I've always I think a lot of people think, yeah, maybe I should try comedy, but a lot of people don't do it, or some people do and some don't. And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll help you out with some ideas." And I'm like, "Well, I already got a few ideas." And literally that was it. They said, "Oh, they were like, "Okay, half hour, we're going to have you on the show doing 5 minutes." I had not written a joke ever. I'd never been to an open mic. I'd never ever sat down and wrote a joke. And now in a half hour, I was about to tell 5 minutes on the number one morning show in Detroit. Right. And it was terrible, as you can imagine. Just awful. But I took the class and I just fell in love with it. Right. And it became a way to kind of deal with my antisocial thoughts and immature thoughts I have on a regular basis, I guess. So you've been doing a lot of open mics and a lot of shows since then. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, as you know, I've known, you said, as far as how long you've known me, you've known me since about 2010 or 11, I think. Yeah. Which is actually, by the way, one of my best moments in comedy. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not just sucking up to you, but that time, the first time I met you doing that funny spot, the tournament or the competition that one time. I don't know if you remember, but I moved on to the finals, and the semifinals was a fan vote, and I didn't have anybody there. I didn't have, a lot of times when you get fan votes, people, hey, let's get 20 of my friends out, and you win because it's a bringer show, and you can win if you bring 50 people. Right. And I didn't bring anybody, and I advanced to the finals, and I remember that was the first time I thought, maybe I'm kind of funny. I don't know. I didn't know anybody here, and I got enough votes to move on. Maybe I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, you definitely you got my vote during that competition, but that was quite a while ago. You've done my shows a couple times, the funny spot. A couple times since then as well.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. You always been on a great show. It's definitely you doing this, and again, from doing it for so long, you do so many places. Man, empty bars, you had a bar where the only people that are there are two people at the bar, and they didn't even know comedy was going to be there. You drove an hour to be there, so it's nice to, when I come to your shows, usually to actually have people there and they know comedy's going to be happening and they play along. So it's great.
What was the, you were telling me a little bit, how can we get into the meltdown story?
Yeah, I was telling you that I'd taken I had a lot going on this summer, and luckily, because of, and I got to plug it, I got to be honest, I got to do some shameless plugging. Luckily, I do a podcast 5 days a week called the Detroit Cast, which it's a daily podcast out of Detroit. It's free. You can check it out on iTunes, our website, detroitcast.com. So I know it's a shameless plug, but
you got to do it.
But it is what it is. I'm wearing the shirt right here. So, but because of that, I've started to get a few benefits, like getting to go to some stuff, media passes to some events. And I was going to some stuff this summer, and I kind of gave up comedy for just the summer because I needed a break.
Right.
But right before that, I had been doing a comedy in Lansing at Max's Bar, which is, if anyone is in the Lansing area and want to check out awesome comedy, Monday night, Max's Bar in Lansing is an amazing open mic. But I was there one time, this last April or so, and I was working on a joke for about a week or so, and I thought it was okay. I had one open mic where it kind of went okay, so I worked on it even more. I was pumped to deliver it at Max's because Max is a great place. I was like, dude, this will be good. I'm just excited. And I'd been kind of feeling down about my comedy a little bit. Having said that, even though I said I felt good about the joke, I had been feeling down about it. And I started telling the joke, dude, and about a minute in, it was just nothing.
Right.
Literally no laugh. I just spent 2 hours before this open mic, like tooling this thing, thinking this is when these laughs are going to happen, and nothing. And I just off the cuff went on about a 5-minute rant about how insane it is that I've been doing this for 5 years and I cannot write a punchline still. I feel like I have no confidence that I can write punchlines. I was like, I think I have funny ideas. I think I have good premises that are unique.
Right.
I think I'm a funny guy, but I've been doing this for 5 years and I still don't know how to write a freaking punchline. And it's like, and I just started kind of going into this analogy of like, could you imagine some kid, like if you were just going to school and you were like, going to Michigan State and you were just getting D's and F's in every class, and after 4 years you were still like, well, I'm confident that I'm smart enough. Like, what is keeping me going? I just drove 2 hours almost to be here. So, but it is what it is. I love doing it.
Analogy. That's a good analogy.
I mean,
he gets D's and E's the whole time, but I'm confident.
Right. I know I'm funny. I know no one's laughing.
That's just the thing. So if they hear this and they see this right now and they're saying, well, Eric must really not be that funny, but that's not true though. I mean, even though
right.
Because you do.
I think I do have some punchlines. I kind of was being a little facetious on that, but I don't have a lot. Like, I still don't think, I definitely don't have, I have about, for doing it for 5 years, I really think I have 3, maybe 4 jokes where there's actual points where I know this is going to get a laugh, or it usually does. Most of my other stuff, I don't have ends to jokes. I don't have a build up to a joke where it just ends.
So what are you talking about? How do you know what you're talking about?
I don't know. I just come up with these ideas that I think are funny, and I just say them. And sometimes when I get a mild laugh, I'll just be like, well, that's the end of that joke, I guess. Or I just kind of play it off as like, oh, wow.
So you have these ideas before you come up. I've never heard this before. You have these ideas before you come up on stage. I
just talk, right. I just kind of talk.
And see what happens.
And it's like, I don't know how that will work out, I guess. Like, I really try to, obviously the point of a lot of joke writers, the point usually is, you kind of have a few jokes sprinkled in, and then there's this end of a joke where it's kind of obvious that, okay, that got the punchline, that got the hit. Now you move on to whatever. You make your little, transition. Of course, sorry about that.
But you're looking for that punchline as you tell the story.
No, I write to try to have it. I just don't seem like I can find, even when I write, I spend hours writing them, and I just never feel confident that my jokes ever have a good enough payoff necessarily at the end. Although I think I tend to have jokes throughout the joke. I just don't have that one big moment where everyone goes, oh, yes, that was funny.
You get a lot of laughs, though, that I've noticed from, like, I don't say crowd work, because it's not normal crowd work, but it's reaction to the crowds and what you say. I love crowd work.
The only thing that bums me out about a lot of open mics that I get to do, not just because of the empty ones, but because unfortunately, and a lot of comics will say this, right? A lot of comics will be like, I don't want 5 minutes. I'd do 15 if I could. I'd rather do 20. So obviously a lot of comics, most of us want to go more. Right. But I really do think for me, when I can get to the 10 to 15, it does benefit me. Because if I can take a little more time with my jokes, no joke ever gets told the same. I tell this joke about me with a hooker in Chicago that I've been telling for about 4 years now, and it's never told exactly the same.
Our director liked this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he would. It's my best joke, and it's not even a joke. It's just a story from my life. But when I can go through, I never tell that exactly the same. Never. And because I do like you said, it's not, I don't know if it's crowd work, but I like interacting with the crowd a lot. Right. And I like acknowledging things that are said. Like, I like it if one person just, I don't know, I like talking to them, but it's, and so that's where I do think, like, for me, if I can get to 10 to 15 minutes, I really think it benefits me, because I do think I do well with interacting with the crowd, and it is not just a typical, like, anybody marry, or anybody celebrating a birthday. I tend to
maybe that's why you do so good on my shows, is because I do give you the extra time.
Yes,
and you end up hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
No, you're right, because yours is usually, you actually usually get like 10 minutes or so. Like I said, in 10 minutes to me, I feel like it's when I have to do like 5 and 6, and I get it. I know that is what it is, and that's open. It's just because my jokes, like, again, I said I don't have a lot of I don't have any one-liners, and I don't really have quick jokes. They tend to be stories, which unfortunately. So I think what I've started to do a process where I've been I've been saying to myself, like, hey, if you do a 5-minute open mic, hey, if I tell one joke, I tell one joke. I don't need to necessarily try to squeeze 2 into 5.
Well, you got to come see Eric, and then you can maybe react to his quirkiness on stage, and he's got some really good stuff. So you never thought about, from your story about the radio, you never thought about doing comedy?
No, I had. You know what? I had one. There's one point before I got my internship on the morning show, which changed my life, actually. I had gone to radio school. I graduated in 2006, and nothing was happening. Like, I didn't know how to really look for a job, yada, yada. And I just Facebook messaged about 5 or 6 radio stations in the area, and one person got back to me and said we could use an intern. But right before that, I was in this weird place in my life where I had not started comedy yet. Radio was going nowhere, and so I had nothing. I wasn't pushing for anything. Right. So I did remember sitting down one time and writing a few ideas of thinking about doing comedy, but looking back at it now, I would have had no idea how to get started. Right. I had thought about it, but not too much. Right. And then, like I said, when I got the email on the show, it just, man, and comedy changed my life, like, so much, dude. How so? Dude, more than I can ever even say. Even though I'm not making a living doing it, I've made so many amazing friends. I love doing open mics. There's a guy coming you're going to have here after me that I'm friends with, and you get to meet all these people, and there is nothing better to me usually than hanging in the back with the comics after, and just anything goes, just the most raunchy humor, deprecating humor. I've met so many friends. It's got me more outgoing. It's definitely helped me socially. I feel I'm still a very awkward and social anxiety kind of person. But it's helped me. But it has helped me. There's no question it's helped me.
And it's in your persona. It's in your character. It's in your comedy, and it's great stuff. And that actually is it helps.
Well, what I've said to people this before, and I know it's like sometimes some of this stuff I think sounds so cliche when you talk about art. People talk about their art or this or that. But I swear to God, in my real life, I've told people before that the only time I ever really feel confident and like at home, or like I feel like myself, is when I'm doing my podcast, talking on the mic, or when I'm doing comedy. I like when you talk about when you get a show, because yours tend to be on the weekend. I tend to do like a Saturday night show, and man, when I'm sitting there knowing like you're 3 up, it's like I'll start shaking and stuff, and it's not nervousness. It's like, dude, I just want to get up there, man.
Well, do you normally go up towards the beginning?
I don't really care, and I don't tend to have a specific spot. Of course, if I could start building, eventually you'd like to be a feature somewhere, or
the later in the show, the more laughs.
But yeah, dude, like for me, like I said, I'm not even nervous. Like I wouldn't even. It's more just I want to just go. Like once we get there, once the first comic, if I'm not the first comic, once the first comic's up and you start hearing some laughter, man, it's like I just want to get on that stage.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's in your blood. So let me at it.
It's in that one moment where I'm not kidding. Most of my life, I do not feel comfortable. Like I said, I have a lot of social anxiety and I'm awkward. Being on stage, I think it's the one place I feel like you mentioned my quirkiness and stuff. I think it's because being on stage is the one place where I feel like that stuff is beneficial to me.
Oh, absolutely.
It does not benefit me, in the mire trying to hit on a girl, or mumbling, or at a party and feeling weird. It does help me when I'm on stage because I'm there to make people laugh, and luckily that social awkwardness makes people laugh.
You mean the girlfriends and the girls admired? You don't.
No,
that's not for laughter.
I usually just end up. I have a new premise I'm working on where I'm actually getting exhausted with even going to like concerts or going even just to Meijer or the mall.
Right.
Because I'm so socially awkward as far as hitting on girls.
Right.
That I used to think, like, me and my friend used to want to walk around the mall, like, oh, there'll be girls there. And I'm like, hell yeah, there'll be girls there. And I'm getting to the point where I don't even want to do it because I know I'm not going to talk to them.
Right.
So I just see all these girls. I'm like, oh, look at all these girls I'm not going to hit on. This is great. Like, I don't even want to go out anymore because it's terrible.
But you think, though, because I know that they like you on stage, the shows that you've done for me, they like you on stage. You think, excuse me, you think it'd be beneficial?
I know, and it's like...
Why don't girls pick up on this?
That's bullshit, because that's why girls always sit there and go, oh, if you make a girl laugh, you can make her do anything. That is bullshit. I'm sorry. I hope I can swear on this. I think that's bull crap, man. Right. You still have to be good, like, looking, and still have to have other moves. I can't, dude, I can 32 and living at home, like, but I think I'm funny. How come that's done nothing for me? So, what are you going to do?
Laugh schmaff. That never got me Pamela Lee, right?
Right. But what are you going to do? It is what it is.
So, and the time is just flying by. And I knew, Eric, from knowing you. You're a talker.
I know.
So, but I did want to talk about the Detroit Cast podcast a little bit. Just talk about it a little bit. Also, that we have a mutual friend who helps you out.
Right.
With Kevin Novak. So,
we call him Kadog on the show. So, yeah, that is kind of funny. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, just like to say, it's essentially what it is the producer of the Drew and Mike show, which is what got me my break actually on the show. That show ended, just whatever, went off the air. They picked up another show. And he had the choice of going into regular radio. And in this world right now, it's just so PC. And if you look around, a lot of morning shows, man, there's some edgy shows out there. Yeah. But, man, in this PC world right now, man, you make the wrong tweet, the wrong joke, and people want your job, man. So he just wanted to do something different where he felt like he could do a show. And then, again, like I tell people, like, it's not like we're sitting here some right-wing nuts or some left-wing nuts where we're just pulling out. But we're able to give real opinions. If you're kind of sick of, like, not at least people being able to give an opinion and not have to worry that they're going to get fired. It's more like that. It's a 5-day-a-week show, and it's more of like a morning show style. We talk news, politics, sports. We have interviews when we can. So I think it's great. It's something I'm most proud about in my entire life. I do it. I go every day and so happy, so excited to do it.
So is there a bunch of people on a round table?
It's kind of like this. We have a host, a co-host. I'm actually just a third person. I'm a pseudo producer on the show. It's kind of just a role they gave me because they needed something to give a third person. Right. But I do kind of help set up I try to help set up some interviews, try to help get some off the screen stuff. But there's a host, a co-host, and then me, and we just turn it on and we look at the news. We do a little, show up a little early, do some prep about what's going on in the news, and of course share stories of life.
This is YouTube. Life. This is video, right?
It's on YouTube, but it's definitely more audio based. Like we're on iTunes, all the Stitcher, all the podcast apps.
Right.
We were nominated the last 2 years actually for comedy award. There's a podcast awards. And actually, really? 2 years ago, I got to go out to Vegas. We didn't win, but I got to go out to Vegas, and we've been nominated in this national podcast awards thing. We haven't won, but we've been nominated, so it's going good. We have sponsors. So I do get paid, not a lot, but I do get paid to do it.
Helps out.
And
the girls like that.
Yeah, I need just a little more, but but it is what it is. What it is. I someone who always have said I define success as different than other people. Mm-hmm. I personally will take. Like I said, I wake up every day pumped to drive in, right, as opposed to driving into some place that you just hate. I'd rather make a little less and be happy.
Right.
So I'd like to say, hey, out there, like I said, I actually brought you a sticker too.
Oh, here. Right.
Brought you a sticker here. Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. I don't know if you can see that.
There it is.
But I brought that for you.
All right. We will definitely put up on the Comedy on Tap wall, right on this brick wall here.
Right.
See?
Oh, yeah. A brick wall. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And, okay, so we're winding down. We only got a couple minutes left. So I wanted you to kind of plug what you're doing, where we can see Eric Fadie and all that stuff, other than the podcast.
Right. And obviously, I know, because of this, I'm not quite sure when it's going to post, but I told you. Right. So I did tell you that two things I could guarantee is, one, October 15th, I'll be at one of your shows.
Timmy's Pub, it's The Funny Spot.
Yep. Yeah. So that's on Saturday, October 5th. Saturday, right?
Right.
October 15th. And then
this guy is on stage. He forgets his stuff.
Oh, I know. I never know what's going on. And then Friday, November 4th, I'll be in Pontiac at the Crowfoot for some comedy. So I got other stuff. If you want to check out my stuff, obviously I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Big E Detroit, Big E Detroit Cast.
Big E.
That's my nickname on the podcast. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah, I'm called Big E on the show.
With Big E nickname, with all this stuff going for you, why can't you get the girls?
Dude,
that's crazy.
I know, dude. You know, dude, you'd need a whole nother show to talk about that. I just get in my own head, and you need a whole nother show.
Well, I get to give you something. Everybody who comes to Comedy on Tap gets a free issue of Flint Comics,
wow.
monthly publication. My column's in there. That's the only reason I give it out, because it's free.
This is worth the drive.
It is. Eric Fadie, everybody. Hilarious. If you like quirky comedy, I call it quirky because I love seeing people who are oddballish and different on stage, and Eric's got it.
Thank you, man.
So keep on not writing jokes.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. Eric Fadie, everyone. That's all the time we have for this week. Tune in next week here on Comedy on Tap. I'm your host, Mark Bonto. Everyone have a funny night. Good night, everyone. All right.